and be forbidden to enter Southwest Brooklyn. Well, that's a fate worse than death for many of us. Let's hope this isn't the M&R train last rites. Long live the M&R. Let me commend everyone. Listen, Governor Patterson has and the state legislature have a great challenge. I know, Senator, you and your colleagues must be able to find a way that's fair and equitable and balanced, and yet preserves the lifeblood, the economic lifeblood, the social lifeblood of New York City, which is our subways and trains and our buses. We have to maintain them, and if anything, to improve the service in the years to come. And let's hope that you and your colleagues will have the wisdom and, of course, the courage to be able to come up during these hard times with a way to make this happen for the benefit of all. Thank you very, very much. Thank you, Chief.
And thank you. And now I'd like to call on State Senator Squadron.
Thank you very much. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today in prediction of the possible demise of the M&R trains, and of course, their fatality would not just be a loss for the riders of these lines. It would be the beginning of a terminal prognosis for the entire system. We can't say RIP New York and we can't say the M&R. You know, I was thinking, when did I first meet the M&R? And I'm not sure exactly when it was, but the times that we've had together, let me tell you, waiting for hours or minutes when I was keeping important people waiting, moments where I was sure that if I could just catch that train, I would be able to pack one more event of the day, and I couldn't. We had good times, the M and the R, sitting under the tunnel, desperate for a cell phone reception. And I know that if we can save them today, the good times will come back. We'll have more great times, and truly, great times on the subways and the buses mean great times for the city of New York. They are intrinsically tied to each other. And the fate of the M&R, the fate of the B-51 and the B-75, the fate of our transit system, and the fate of our city have been tied for years and years, and we know that if the state legislature and the MTA will both step up and make real changes and solve these cuts before they happen, the M&R, the city, and the region will all be going the same direction, and we can't let it happen. So I look forward to working with the great borough president.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is a Manhattan Bell train approaching a launch.
The voice of the spirits are with us. Of course, the Great Draft Hangers campaign, Downtown Brooklyn Partnership, and everyone else on creative, aggressive solutions to keep the M&R, our city, and our transit system alive and well. Thank you very much.
I'd like to call on Michael Burke of the Downtown Brooklyn Partnership.
Thanks. Thanks, Gene. You know, the M&R are critical for the transit network here in downtown Brooklyn. So the Downtown Brooklyn Partnership has a suggestion for the MTA. The MTA owns a blighted, decrepit building in the middle of downtown Brooklyn at 370 J Street. We've asked them to meet with us. We've asked them to consider selling the building, and they've consistently refused. Their plan is to dump $150 million into the building, renovate it, and maybe open it by 2016. That's unacceptable. Sell the building for $50 million, save $150 million in renovation costs, pump that $200 million back into the system. You can save the M train, save the R train, and renovate this decrepit station beneath us. So I urge everyone to urge the MTA to follow our suggestion. I know the elected officials in downtown Brooklyn are all on board with that. So our message to the MTA is save the M and the R, sell 370 J Street. Thank you.
I'd like to call on our last corner, Paul Nelson, the Chief of Staff for Assemblymember Joan Millman.
Good morning. We're here to mourn the passing of the M and the R train. However, I'm very concerned that we're also going to see a resurrection. And normally a resurrection is a positive thing, but the resurrection I fear is a return to the bad old days of the 1970s and 80s. I've been taking the R train my entire life. It is dangerously overcrowded every morning, along with the D and the N train. And I refer to my commute every morning as it becoming one of a full contact sport, just trying to get on and off these crowded trains. To lose 16 more trains...
Ladies and gentlemen, please help us keep the subway system clean and litter-free. Please use the trash receptacles. The time is 10:53. Thank you for riding with MTA New York City Transit.
I would like to point out that says 10:56 up there. Just But the reason why they're making all these cuts is not because the economy is bad, it's because of their fiscal mismanagement. Between 370 J Street, between the reports of how they've completely messed up the reconstruction in South Ferry. The Assemblywoman is actually at a hearing right now regarding the rebuilding, the progress, the lack of progress, depending on how you want to look at it, of the World Trade Center. And one of the things they're looking at too is how the MTA has wasted tens, probably hundreds of millions of dollars in rebuilding that transit hub there. This is unconscionable. They need to get their act together before they continue to put this unfair burden on hardworking Brooklynites and other New Yorkers from the outer borough. Thank you.
We just have two more things to do before our ceremony is finished. First of all, I'd like to ask everyone to take a moment of silence during which we contemplate what life would be like without the MNR as they are now. Sad. And bagpipe was out. I'd like to call on John Maynard again.
By the way, can you guys get around that over there and you can play